How you doing, YouTube family? Today is Tuesday, August 19th, 2025. Is your man Big D, and I'm back with another one. I want to thank all you good folk out there in YouTube land for continuing to show support to my son and I. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Well, family, I'm back with another video. And in this video, I have an update to the Fort Stewart shooting involving Cornelius Radford. In this update, we are going to be hearing and finding out some critical information which possibly led to this young brother crashing out and going up on base and going shoot 'em up bang bang. So, family, let's go ahead and dive into this without further ado and see what could have likely led this young man to losing in such a manner.
We do have new information tonight about a possible motive in last week's Fort Stewart shooting.
Sources say Sergeant Cornelius Radford was in an intimate relationship with one of the men who was shot, a man he reported to authorities as his husband just months before the attack. WSAV's Christine Qualey is joining us now with what court records reveal about that connection.
You know, family, it's amazing because I knew it had to be more to it than this young brother getting a DUI, and then just because of that incident, he take a firearm up on base and just start crashing out. I knew it had to. I just felt like it was more to it than what was being reported or perhaps being known. But this whole thing adds more light to the situation.
Yes, Tina, Ben. So through court records and sources with knowledge of the investigation, I've learned that the alleged Fort Stewart shooter, Sergeant Cornelius Radford, seemingly had a romantic relationship with a man who was one of the victims.
Sergeant Cornelius Radford was arrested by a Georgia State Patrol officer for driving under the influence on May 18th, just weeks before he allegedly opened fire on Fort Stewart. In the report, the arresting officer says his car was released to a man he self-reported to be his husband. However, according to court records from Liberty County, that man was already married to a person sources say identifies as a woman and was in the process of finalizing a divorce from her. In fact, court records show the divorce between the man Radford referred to as his husband back in May and that man's wife was finalized one day before the shooting at Fort Stewart. Though Radford told Georgia State Patrol the man who took custody of his car was his husband, a source with knowledge of the investigation told WSAV that Radford was only known as an acquaintance to the man with the potential for a relationship. That source confirmed Radford's self-reported husband was one of the shooting victims. Radford
So, family, it seems to me that perhaps there was some DL things going on. Seems to me like there was uh there was some DL activity potentially going on, and then you have also a person that is potentially on the DL too, but also married. So, family, this is interesting because we see a lot of this in today's time where we have a lot of men out there that's on the down low. A lot of these men are married. This is just another example. A lot of these men are married and they appear to come across as a heterosexual male, but when nobody's looking and the lights are turned out, they doing the unthinkable. They getting their cheeks clapped by another dude. Are clapping another dude's cheeks. I don't know. But I do know this that perhaps, and it had to be something going on, had to be an argument that occurred between this young brother and the other person that he was the other male that he was alleged in a relationship with and shot. There had to be something going on between those two that aggravated the situation. Now we know that this young brother had just gotten a DUI. Obviously, his chain of command, he didn't notify him of it at the time. They weren't notified, and all this just slowly came out. And then now, you know, weeks later or time later, he ends up bringing a firearm up on post, and he crashes out, and he not only, crash out on other folk, but he did the unthinkable to the dude he was allegedly in a relationship with, that he called his husband. So family, it was, this is just crazy because it is a lot of this type of behavior going on, not just the down low behavior, but men just crashing out. Put it like this, down low men are crashing out. We seeing a lot of that going on nowadays. A lot of it.
Is being charged with domestic violence by the Army Office of Special Trial Counsel, and their office also confirmed one of the victims was Radford's intimate partner. This development comes amidst reports that Radford was bullied for a stutter during his time at Fort Stewart. WSAV spoke with a soldier that recently left Fort Stewart who shed more light on these claims, and we've altered his voice in order to protect his identity.
He was essentially the bottom of the pecking order and just not handling it well. He's known for being pretty aggressive with his soldier and pretty extreme behavior. And he was known for a pretty heavy stutter. He was pretty much just made fun of. And instead of doing really anything else he could have done, he took the extreme option.
And Radford was transferred to Joint Base Charleston for pretrial confinement. And as is always the case in criminal proceedings, he is presumed innocent until proven guilty in this matter.
Well, family, there you have it. We have more information and more insight on why this young brother potentially crashed out. Wasn't just him getting a DUI and potentially facing some type of punishment, maybe losing rank, even getting kicked out of the military. Yeah, it's a lot more going on with this story, and we find out that ultimately there is another person involved that he is or was alleged to be in a relationship with, another man. So, family, what do y'all think about this? What's your thoughts? Do you think perhaps this just a troubled brother, and he, when he enlisted in the military, he had these problems? Do you perhaps think that maybe he was down low before he enlisted in the military? Or was he straight when he enlisted in the military? Did he learn this type of behavior while serving in the military? I don't know, family. It's just a lot of it's still a lot of questions that beg answers. Um that beg for answers, and we're just slowly just getting scratching the tip of the iceberg with this guy in this situation. Well, family, always remember, be more tomorrow than you were yesterday. Peace.